Hello, welcome Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Wednesday to you. Nice green day for Bitcoin, which, feels like it's been a long time, but hasn't really. Anyway, thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, please like and subscribe. Okay, so straight on with the price action analysis. We don't need this, actually. I'm just going to get rid of the RSI for now. Stick to the Bollinger Bands and the MACD. And I'm going to check in on CME, the weekly, at the end. But we'll start with the 4-hour because you can see really nicely what's happened. Kind of expected. A few days ago, I did sort of took out a rough prediction of move down to about 90K, which is effectively what happened, and then had a very nice bounce from there. It's basically consolidating though, so no great shakes in either direction, but you've got to, well, I certainly am now leaning more towards another upside move. And the reason for that will become clear very shortly. So this is the 4-hour, so you can see made a new all-time high, just shy of 100 grand. The volatility cooled off, narrow Bollinger Bands. The price was below the midpoint. Volatility expanded on the Bollinger Bands. And then it's going back into a contraction phase on the 4-hour. But importantly, the price is now closed 2 4-hour candle. No, well, nearly 2, because the second one closes in 7 minutes above the midpoint. And so whatever happens, maybe a bit more consolidation or maybe some more upside, but I would expect the volatility to maybe cool off a little bit first. And then as long as Bitcoin remains above the midpoint of the Bollinger Band, which is basically coming in at 95 at the moment, then it's likely the next volatile move will be to the upside. Will it break 6 figures? Yeah, probably. You can see from a momentum point of view, yeah, momentum is still to the downside because it's below the zero line on the MACD. However, um, unless Bitcoin breaks down from here, there's not been a change in the 4-hour trend because you've still got higher lows, really. You could argue that this is a lower and then this is a lower low. But I think that would only be confirmed if Bitcoin turned back down from where it is now, thus confirming a lower high. Where's the pen? Give me the pen. What are you? Crazy pen or brush or whatever you are. So I think that would only really be valid. Bitcoin is this sort of thing, which it might still do. I just think it's less likely. However, even more less likely when the MACD, or if and when the MACD crosses above the zero line, which at the moment is still a bit far away for this number to make any sense. So that's also going to change in 5 minutes. I expect that it'll be quite close to the zero line at this point. And so, but it'll continue in a green upward posture as long as Bitcoin's closing 4 hours above 93,250, call it. So what I've drawn on there, I think, is less likely. But it's, you have to think about all eventualities. The more important thing on the 4-hour is to remain above the midpoint on the Bollinger Band, if and when volatility starts to contract more and then expand. Now the daily is the daily. So the daily, you can see nice pullback to the midpoint of the Bollinger Band, and then a good bounce from there. Again, to be absolutely brutal is the wrong word. To be absolutely accurate, this still got potential to break down or at least consolidate more. And Bitcoin, the only way around that is to get back above the all-time high, which on the daily for a closure is around 99K. But we all know that 100,000 is the number that needs to be broken. So yeah, it's the right side of the midpoint of the Bollinger Band. It has been cooling off in volatility. How much longer does that go on for? Well, today's Wednesday. I don't know. Today's a fairly good day, but I think I'd be surprised if this week we see new all-time highs. Because there's only 2 days left trading on CME. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's sort of prediction that is a bit of a fool's errand, and hopefully I'm not too foolish, so I'll stop that now. But yeah, price remains the right side of the Bollinger Band, the midpoint of the Bollinger Band. Now, CME over here, and excuse me, the weekly time frame. So you can see beautiful volatility expansion, which is cooling off a tiny bit, but not significantly. And you can see, so it's only Wednesday. This doesn't close for another 2 days. In fact, or just shy, 1 day and 23 hours. This clearly represents selling pressure early on in the week, followed by buying pressure basically today. So it's one of those kind of funny shaped candles at the moment. Doesn't mean it's going to look like that in 1 day and 23 hours, but this basically reflects buying pressure the latter part of the week. Now, just referencing the volatility expansion, it's only been going so that it was created here. So if we include that week for the volatility expansion, this will be the 4th week, although this week didn't increase the volatility expansion. So we'll say 3 weeks of volatility expansion. And let's face it, this was 30 odd weeks. This was like 6 months of consolidation, which does make me think that this move has more to give, even on a weekly time frame. And there's not even a sniff of bearish divergence on the weekly time frame until Bitcoin finds a weekly top, wherever that may be, pulls back, then puts in another drive to the upside, but which gets above wherever this top now. Let's do some proper numbers. Let's just play around for a second. So my 2 number predictions are 105. I think that's where the next move will probably go up to. Then a weekly pullback, maybe back to around 90, who knows, I don't know. And then another move up to 120, and then maybe some consolidation. And so during this phase of price action, if this takes Bitcoin through to the latter part, or at least the midpoint of 2025, that from a time point of view could be the end of this bull run. I'm not saying it's going to be, but it could be. But what I would expect to see on this weekly time frame for that to be correct would be on an RSI, something like this. A move up to the high, come down, and then a lower high on the RSI, but a higher high in price. So that would be bearish divergence, which on a weekly time frame on an RSI doesn't mean bull run over, but is quite suggestive. However, that's like months into the future, in my humble opinion. And so again, I'm being rather foolish by contemplating such things, but it's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. What else was I going to say? Let's just have a look. Although this wasn't really a pullback, it was just consolidation. There was an obvious divergence between these 2 highs on the previous bull run. I don't think I'll bother doing that today. Maybe I can do it another time. Let's get that back of the right magnitude. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed the video. So important for today, back to the 4-hour time frame, is for Bitcoin to maintain 4-hour closures and dailies above 95 for more upside, or at least consolidation. Take care, and join me tomorrow for Thursday's price action analysis. See you later. Bye-bye.